Broadcasting alive from the Green Room Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates, celebrating 25 years of home and garden wisdom. Without further ado, your hosts, Josh Cary and David Bates.
And good morning, everyone. I'm David Bates, and that is not Josh Cary.
Nope.
It is Adam Chapman, the general manager.
Yes.
And good morning to you, Adam.
Good morning, sir.
And Josh has the day off. It's a rather flimsy excuse. His daughter, Eliza, is getting married today.
Indeed.
So congratulations to Eliza, and hope they have a very pleasant and uneventful ceremony. They're in New Orleans, if I understand it correctly. So,
wow,
an excused absence for Josh today. Yeah, the Big Easy. And anyway, welcome in, everyone. We're glad to have you today, and we're going to talk about what can only be described as sublime
weather.
Yes, this is fall time, and today will really seem like it. Today is Saturday, the 7th of October, 64 degrees for the high temperature today. That's right, the high temperature, 64 degrees. 41 for the overnight low tomorrow. That means it could maybe be 37.
There was a little frost on the eaves this morning here on this building.
So, pretty amazing. Yeah, I did not refresh this. This is 43 degrees. This was hours ago. I got here early, but I've been working on a project in case you guys were not apprised of that. It's been a...
You will be.
Anyway, Sunday, 67, another spectacular day, 51 for the overnight low. Warms up a bit on Monday, 73, 44, 72, 51 on Tuesday, 78, 55, and hopefully the completion of the paving project. I'm so looking forward to being completed. Thursday, 79, 62. Chance of showers on Friday, maybe a third of an inch of rain, and 74 for the high, 52 for the overnight low, and then next weekend, well,
carbon copy.
It looks like the same forecast, so we'll just roll it forward a week next week. And check quickly for the rainfall this week. We have received here at Bates Nursery about a third of an inch of rain this week, so we were... Actually, it was all very timely. We've been doing this gravel work. We'll kind of talk a little bit about this project I've had going on where we're completely redoing our parking, and it is it's really going to be nice when we get done. And by this time next week, it should all be done. We won't have striping done for a little bit because I need to think about it a little bit more. I haven't had time to think about striping. I've only had time to think about
gravel
and grades and making sure everything goes the way it's supposed to go. So it has not disappointed with regard to its complexity. So fortunately, we are nearing the end. I just hope I am not.
Me too.
And I want a big shout out to Shannon and Poland. I got my Bates Nursery vest on that he
very dapper.
He had made for it. It is a very Shannon-esque. Although Shannon is has the physique of a greyhound. I'm more like a boxer or bulldog, I guess is. He's a much slimmer individual than I am. I am short and stocky. He is not.
No.
So
neither one of those.
This one fits as snug as it needs to fit. I cannot gain weight, so I won't. I'll go across the way here.
You better not, David.
Tyler Blankenship. He's the guy making it all happen. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning, David and Adam. Good morning, everyone.
Glad to have you in today, and also glad to have, per usual, Caroline Gant, Austin Lowen across the way. Good morning, guys. Got that autumn look going on in the studio, particularly on your end.
Good morning. Pumpkins and everything over here.
Feels like fall over here.
It does.
Well, the temperatures are certainly indicative of that, and it's time. It's wonderful. So we're going to talk about all the things that you've got questions about with regard to your lawn and your landscape. And if you've taken the time to send a question in, well, we're going to get to it right about now. So take it away, Caroline.
All right, so we got a couple questions in on this topic, and let's clear it up. We get it in every week. Should I plant a tree now, or is it too late? So trees, bushes, we got some questions about shrubs, thinking that it is too late as we move into the winter to plant it. I don't think so.
It's never too late.
It's never too late here. It's really not. And trees love it being planted this time of year. They really do. I love it planting trees this time of year. I don't like to plant trees with leaves on them. Whenever they have leaves on them, I got to water it. You know, like after it drops its leaves, I can pretty much plant it, water it once, and then the wintertime's just going to keep it wet for me.
Yeah. The worst part is trying to haul it without doing damage to the leaves. And when you're in the fall season, the lost foliage, or at least the foliage that is getting ready to drop off, you can't really damage it because it's going bye-bye anyway. So it's a really great time with respect to hauling. Now I want to take a brief detour here for just a moment. I've been working up here in the front lot. I get to see more closely of the goings-on. And there's a lot of people, and we want to thank everyone who continues to come out through this whole parking lot project that's a bit inconvenient right now, but it's going to be a lot better. But I want to talk about hauling plants in the back of your vehicles, particularly pickup trucks. Standing up is not the correct way to do it. They need to be laid down with the container towards the cab of the truck. And you lay them down. If you have several, you just put them in there side by side so that they really don't have room to move. Chances are you have some kind of bag earth mix material with you, so you can put that at the end if you need to keep it from rolling around. But that way ensures that most of these plants, which are not deciduous, they don't drop their leaves, don't get windburned on the way home. I caught a guest yesterday, Caroline. I believe she bought two. She bought two palm trees, and she had some other spathiphyllums. Anyway, all tropical stuff. And I tried to get her to lay them over. She was sure, but she's going 1 mile down the road. I said, not more than 20 miles an hour if you're going to do that.
They were all standing up?
They were all standing up in the back of her. They were sago palms. They were pretty tough, but the spathiphyllums they were smaller. But standing up, I said, just do 20 miles an hour. So please be mindful that your plants need to be put in there where they're as aerodynamic as possible so that you avoid getting any damage.
And if you want to cover them, you can bring a old bed sheet or something, something that's breathable.
Yeah,
ideally,
it's really better than a tarp.
Way better.
Yeah,
and really, at the end, just let us do it. Just let us help you load. We're really, really good at it.
We do it all day long, every day.
I tell you.
Yes, we do.
I had a guest yesterday. Her name's Eden. She's got a little landscape business going on, and she needed help loading her vehicle. And she was like, I can't do this. I need you to help me with this. And she thought it was never going to work. I was going to get all those plants in her vehicle, and it was easy.
You're the master of loading.
I love loading vehicles.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. It's like
it is.
It's a really and I always have enjoyed it. It's one of those things you acquire some level of either aptitude or experience in, or a combination of the two, that gives you that ability to find all the right spots. So anyway, that little detour for just a moment about properly loading your vehicle but before you leave. We don't want anyone to confuse where you have been. If they're lying down and you really can't see them, then people will know that you've been to Bates Nursery. Otherwise, you may have gone somewhere else. We don't want people to think that.
That's right.
And we're now detouring towards a question we got on YouTube from Samara. I have an osmanthus, says it's zone 6A and up, but I heard it's not really hardy here in Tennessee. Do you have any advice?
I have one of those.
Yeah,
I've got a bunch of them at my house.
Yeah, mine was doing fine. December freeze took it all the way to the ground, but then it came back up.
All of mine have come back as well. And the cultivar I have is the Goshiki, which is the variegated tricolor, or whatever they want to call it. But
looks like a holly.
They have been beautiful for years. This is the first time they've ever been bit at my house. Now they got bit hard.
Yeah.
But they have come back completely.
Yeah, I had a guest 2 days ago that lost. She had like a whole stand of I think she said like 11 or 12 Goshiki false holly, the same osmanthus that you have, David, and hers had been living there for 17 years. They had made this nice little head. She loved them. They were beautiful. Little variegated, pokey little osmanthus.
Pokey.
And, yeah, very pokey. And it was something like all of them except for like 3 came back for her. So she came out and got 3 more. We sell osmanthus here, the Goshiki. And so, yeah, it happened this year. But no, osmanthus is usually plenty hardy around here. And the regular old osmanthus, just the osmanthus fragrans, the tiniest little white blooms produce
amazing.
the best smell you could ever smell. Like it rivals gardenia. I actually think it's better than gardenia. It's like
It's better.
Well, it's better
more
than gardenia
citrusy.
because it actually
it
lives here.
I knew you were going there. Yeah, but that and it gets big too. We've got ours in the batrium, what we call the batrium here, which is kind of our shade structure. And I've noticed a few of them are started to reach, and they really grew this fall. I mean, they're like, what do they sit? They're sitting like 8 feet tall right now in the batrium. So yeah,
big.
I mean, I'm a fan of osmanthus, but
She has the San Jose variety for.
San Jose.
That's the cultivar name.
Have you ever heard of that? I've never heard of
I've
that.
heard of that one.
Not familiar with that one.
She said osmanthus fragrans, but then when I'm looking it up, it's osmanthus. It's a hybrid cross with Fortunii.
No. Cool.
So,
Anyway.
Well, wow. Well, I love mine.
For
Mine
what
came
it's
back
worth.
from the
Should
ground.
be okay.
Yeah,
though.
should be
I mean,
fine.
now, and if you use what happened this past winter as the criterion for what is hardy and what is not, well, almost everything is not hardy, including conifers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen such devastation on plants.
Well, a lot of those conifers like deodoras and they're more almost
Chamaecyparis,
they're
all
almost
those.
more Mediterranean and
Yeah, they are.
they're not used to that cold blast.
and we've not had that before, and hopefully not again.
hopefully.
Edward Oliphant from the At Home Show page has a question. My crepe myrtle are having a second infestation this summer with aphids. Do I need to treat them with neem oil again, given we are into fall season, or just let the leaves fall and give up? I added that. Don't give up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up,
man.
For this season, I'm a fan of just saying let's let it just drop.
Yeah, and then
Crepe
use
myrtles.
the neem. Once the leaves have fallen off, then you can do the neem oil this winter.
Yeah,
or
the
or
dormant oil.
really the
Dormant oil.
Yeah, but you didn't want something as heavy as possible, and you can't. Neem is great during the growing season,
Yeah.
because it's a very light, kind of like a superfine sun spray. But if you can use dormant oil, it's going to be your best bet, and it's it only kills on one end. It only will attack and suffocate the pests that it's applied to, and it's a very safe thing to apply from an applicator standpoint. It doesn't mess with you personally. It's just an oil.
Yeah.
Yep.
And really, the crepe myrtles are, at least 50% defoliated already, and they're going to readily keep dropping. So just clean up the leaves whenever they drop. You'll be fine.
You'll be okay.
Aphids don't kill crepe myrtles, really.
They
But
don't,
they do
yeah.
make them look bad.
They're not a terrible pest to have. I would say they're not my least favorite to treat.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Japanese maple. Somebody is planning on putting a Japanese maple in a pot, and they just need tips and suggestions on how to do this.
All right. Well, it's very, very common to put Japanese maples in pots. We've got a guest, Sam Boyette. If you're listening, what's up, my dude? He grows a lot of them in pots, and you can just keep them out during the wintertime because they're very cold hardy here. So it's not, even in a pot, they're hardy. And then really no difference of potting any other plant, really. It's just something you do. It's very, very common to keep them in pots. So, get a nice... get one of our Earth Mix products here that we use for container mixes, and
I use Landscape for my Japanese
I like
maple in
landscape
pots.
too. I like landscape.
And as
I've
long
got a
as it's
few.
at least a zone 5 hardy or hardier plant, they are, which Japanese maples are, you generally won't have an issue so long as you keep it watered thoroughly prior to having a severe freeze. So as long as you can do that, they'll generally do wonderful here.
Yeah, and I think the only thing you need to watch out for is when it comes to next spring. Okay, so if your maple decides to leaf out a little bit early, or when it should leaf out,
They don't like that.
Yeah, and if we get a late frost and it's very, very tender leaves, just move that pot inside overnight, or
Well,
one
that's
night.
actually an advantage there because if they're in the ground,
Yeah.
you can't move it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. and
So
that-
be prepared with sheets.
I had to cover mine. I had to cover mine this spring. We had a late frost, as y'all know. Y'all hydrangea lovers know we had a late frost this year because your hydrangea didn't bloom. Well, same thing happened with my Ryusin Japanese maple, which is a green leaf weeper that I love. It's really, really close to my entranceway to my house. It looks great. But this spring, it leafed out early. It's one that wants to leaf out a little bit early for some reason. And I had to get out there and throw the bed sheets over it and cover those tender leaves. And I still suffered a little bit of burn on it. It leafed out past it and everything was fine, which they generally do. But I had to do that this year because they can do that.
Well, it can often be the case when you're trying to cover Japanese maples or other things with tender growth on them. Is that for whatever reason, whenever we're having these cold fronts come through, it's very windy. So,
Yes.
and if you happen to have plant in threes like people frequently do, you can experience the phenomenon of three sheets in the
to
wind.
the wind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, we want to know that
Bravo.
that's difficult.
Be aware.
Yep, should be aware.
Also, be aware of your laurels. We got a laurel question. Of our 4 cherry laurels, one has started to brown significantly. Is it drought? Is it fungus? I don't know. They didn't send a picture, so what could do this?
Started the brown.
It could be a mix of, it could be a number of things. It's a laurel, let's be honest. There's a lot of things that happen to laurels, and it's not uncommon for you to plant 4 of something and one of them doesn't do well, okay? So, yeah, it could be drought. It could be it's not getting enough water. It could be an overwatered scenario. Laurels really don't like to sit wet either. That's a big problem with laurels. Fungus, to me, doesn't present brown very often with laurels unless it's like a canker. And that's usually described as like one main limb or one chunk that goes like brown on a laurel. I know if you've grown laurels, you've seen this. That's something you can literally cut out and usually take care of it that way. But without some pictures, this one's a little tricky to let me know which one, what's going on. But if they're newly planted and it's going brown, it's usually a water thing. It's usually not enough.
Yeah, usually it'll happen where you miss that one watering.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't bounce.
It goes back past the wilting point too
Yeah.
far, and then you got leaves that are turning brown. It's not dead,
No.
Just
but
sad.
Set
sad.
back.
And I think since you said the word wilt, I think it's worth visiting my error. I misspelled turgor on the program.
Turner pressure.
It's not Terger. It's Turgor. So I want everyone to know I try to be correct, but the error rate as I have continued to age seems to be increasing. So just saying.
We all do
happens.
it.
Yeah.
We all
Same.
do it.
I mean, I don't make a lot of mistakes, but sometimes.
Yeah. We were doing the No Down the other day, which is our Instagram thing, and we do videos we answer these questions. Actually, we just redo it on Instagram, and we do it kind of in a funny way, but also a
Very
informative way. The other day, I was trying to say blue kazoo, spirea, and I said blue coo twice in a row. Couldn't get it out. I said this blue coo.
It
We
was
all
amazing.
laughed. It was hilarious. And then I said, all right, here we go. This blue coo said it twice in a row. David, it happened.
So
sir.
if you want to see that clip, the blooper reel will be released today, so you will be able to see it.
Well, and
On
everybody,
Instagram.
everybody loves the blooper
Instagram.
reel.
everybody loves the
The
blooper
blooper
reel.
reel.
So.
We do one monthly. It's released on a Saturday once a month.
And,
So.
since we're in the month of October, I'm just kind of curious myself. Are we going to have another Halloween video? Can we even talk about it?
I don't know.
Tyler?
Maybe. Yes, we
That's
are.
Tyler, the
yeah.
producer.
No, we definitely are.
We're gonna make something.
We've got some ideas.
Yeah.
Well,
We've been
last-
brainstorming.
Last year's was really spectacular.
Thank you. We had the best time.
So anyway, I know there's a lot of people probably looking forward to it.
Yeah, that have been wondering all year if I'm going to escape the woods and learn about trees.
waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, well, you see people approaching the tree lot with trepidation this time of year because you don't know where that black hole is that you fall through into the other dimension that you guys obviously got sucked into.
We
the place
did.
where trees go to grow up.
That's
as
right.
Austin would say.
Absolutely terrifying, but I learned a lot. So, Education can be scary sometimes, but it's good for all of us. If you haven't seen that video, it's Bates' Little Shop of Horrors. It is on YouTube. It's on our Instagram page and on Vimeo. So check it out. So when the second one comes around, you'll know what you're thinking about. Quick question on Edgeworthia. I do want one of these, and I know that they're kind of marginal here in our zone. And so we do have a viewer that is asking thoughts on Edgeworthia, which is also paper bush.
All right. Edgeworthia is a cool little plant, y'all. It's got these flowers that bloom probably before any other tree, pretty much. It's the earliest in the spring. They smell fantastic. It's kind of got a leaf similar-ish to like a deciduous magnolia. It's kind of linear.
Or deciduous azalea.
Or deciduous azalea, yeah. It's kind of long and a little bit thin. And it is a small growing tree. And if you live in the city, like in Nashville, where it's a little bit warmer microclimate, I know Joy, who used to work with us in our perennial department, she had an Edgeworthia that did just fine in East Nashville. It is, though, a little bit risky to plant this on the outskirts, okay? It can be a little bit cold sensitive. So I think it's worth growing because it is such a cool little small tree. But it comes with a risk. Maybe one winter, it may not wake up.
Oh.
So there's that. We do sell them, though. We have them here right now. They're budded up, ready to bloom for their early spring show.
Yeah, maybe one winter that we don't wake up.
It's very true.
Eventually, some winter.
It happens.
Very
Hey,
true.
but enough about death and destruction. Let's talk about living and giving your plants their very best. And that's where Earth Mix Garden Products comes in. And if you're trying to grow plants, and who isn't? If you're listening to our program, you're trying to give yourself the very best opportunity to be successful in growing. And what we try to do with Earth Mix Garden Products is to produce products that are so productive, so viable, that it literally takes the work out of gardening. If you can somehow get your plant in the ground with the soil either directly from the bag or amended with one of the amendments, you're going to have really excellent results, and you're going to also be able to increase your success rate dramatically. So Earth Mix Garden Products is available only at the finest independent garden centers and other independent sellers. You can't find it at a box store. Go to earthmix.net and click on the Find Earth Mix tab, and once you're there, you'll see pins will come up worldwide. Actually, sometimes this map comes up, and I don't know why we're getting the...
It needs your location, David.
Oh, okay. We're going to
But
allow...
look at that map.
But it's
though.
very
Wow.
polite. It asks you
We're going
first.
to allow that, yes. And I don't want to go to settings. Trust me. If you
Okay,
there it is.
there it is.
So look there, and you'll see that there are locations not just all over Middle Tennessee, also in West Tennessee, out in Millstone, out in East Tennessee, down in Rudy's Nursery, down in
North Alabama.
Killen, Alabama, all over Kentucky. Check it out. Either type in your address or just simply zoom in to the area near you for the location of an Earth Mix seller in your area. And remember this, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden Products. And we appreciate you considering using it and supporting those who are sellers of the product. We take a lot of pride in making it the very best, and we want you to have success. Earth Mix.
And Colin's
Check it
got
out.
a Earth Mix question. Do y'all do delivery of Earth Mix, or would you need to go through a different vendor or pick it up?
Boy,
So-
do we.
Yes, we do. Bates Nursery is the facilitator of bulk Earth Mix, and you can order it for delivery or pickup.
Yes, in the Nashville area. Yes.
And if you have a forklift, this is mainly geared towards commercial type accounts. You can order it in super sacks, which we've got one going out Monday mornings, 20 super sack orders. So these are the 1.3 cubic yard, big industrial type bags. And
Most
it has-
trucks can haul it, though. Most trucks can
Oh,
haul,
a pickup truck can haul one, yes.
Yeah.
It's getting it off the truck. That's the difficult
Correct.
part. If you don't have a forklift, just because it's got handles doesn't mean you can pick it up. If it weighs, the bag company that we get it from are called 1-ton bag. That should give you a clue
Yes.
as to what the conundrum is. You can't drag it. You got to have a piece of equipment to deal with them. But if you can do so, you really it's very economical if you're doing a larger quantity of things to get it that way, providing you have a piece of equipment. It's also available in bulk where there's no bag at all. It's just loaded on the truck and dumped at your site. So.
Freestyle dumping.
There you go. It's a really good idea
Exactly
when
what it is,
when you're
Tyler.
having any kind of a bulk product delivered. Is keep a tarp around, preferably something that's maybe 10 by 12 feet, something
At
that's
least
big
that big,
enough, maybe more like 12 by 16. And that'll give you the ability to dump onto it and then maybe take it and fold it over the top. The soil mixes that actually have soil in them, they're better. It doesn't hurt them to get wet, but they're much easier to work with until you get them in the ground, and then they can get wet and it'll be fine. So you try to keep them dry if you can, and certainly you don't want to get him, mixed in with the grass and all that if you're trying to deal with it. That's enough out of me. For this
We got
moment.
a couple comments on our Facebook page. We had one viewer, Pam, who says they have a couple Edgeworthia and they are doing amazing. They're actually in bloom. I think they said blooming right now. Yeah. So looking good, blooming right now. And then another viewer says the parking lot is going to look amazing. So
All right.
sounds
Thank
like
you.
people are quite excited about
Thank you
that.
for the encouragement.
Yes.
I'm
excited.
I'm officially at the stage where I need all the encouragement I can get every morning, and I sit up on the edge of the bed and I try to decide: is there a part that's not hurting? It's getting increasingly difficult, but it will be worth it. Getting close to the finish line and just not having dust. You'll actually be able to come to Bates Nursery with a clean car and leave
With a clean car.
Oh,
Well,
that's
except for
exciting.
the inside, when you're going to have
you may have
plants
pl-
on the inside.
But
The
but it
outside
won't-
will look good, though.
Yes, you'll look great driving down the
Yes.
highway.
Yes.
Nice and shiny. All right. I bet people are wondering what is around us this morning.
That would mean
Around
somebody has to push a
me
button.
and
What's in room? All right,
with
there you go.
Caroline.
You happy?
I
Just
am
kidding.
so happy.
I'm
I
happy.
just wanted to talk about this so badly. So we talked about our fall theme that we have over here. We went with some coreopsis and pumpkins. So we got our second round of pumpkins in this year. I always wait until the second round comes in because there's a little bit more variety.
That
and we
came
get
in
a lot
yesterday,
more.
didn't they?
It came in, I believe, 2 days ago,
Yeah, it was
but pretty much
Thursday.
yesterday.
Thursday.
It's always exciting when they come in and we get to hand unload all the pumpkins. So me and Austin and Owen, we hand unloaded them. So we have touched every single pumpkin that is here at the nursery, and we've got to inspect them and
Doesn't
really
that make
look at
everyone
them.
feel special?
Yes, you should feel so special when you take one of these pumpkins
Because
home.
they have been touched.
They have been touched by
By
an angel.
Austin.
Yes, Caroline,
or Caroline.
Austin,
And Owen.
And, well, Owen, that's the one. Really,
He's the
right
kicker.
there.
He is the kicker right
He's
there.
the most angelic.
So Austin's really excited about these swan gourds that we got. So he has a little selection up down in front that he wants to show
that
off.
is
So look at
cool.
that.
Look.
I mean, you can make a little table arrangement with
It's a
these.
swan.
Well,
Put that on a
you'll-
lazy
you'll
Susan.
Be, you'll be happy to know that my wife has already
going.
done that. She's.
Oh, wait until you see this one. You're going
Look
to
at
have to
this.
bring it home to Rachel.
No.
Look at this. It's
Adam?
like a baby penguin.
Yep.
Look at it.
That's not what I was. That's not what I was
cute.
thinking. But okay.
It's so now get the
You
the
got to
goth
stick some
one
googly
out.
eyes on that one.
The goth one,
Is that this
the
one?
dark colored one. This
Okay.
is the one Rachel needs. Adam,
This
get
is-
this for your wife, your
Oh,
lovely
wow.
bride.
Oh,
Look at that.
That's the
Baby
black
penguin,
swan.
It's
Black
the black swan.
swan.
Exactly
Yep.
what I was about to say. So you can go with the black swan thing. You can make them kiss like Austin just did.
Oh, they're cute.
Little swan kisses. So as you can see, we have quite the variety of pumpkins and gourds here, all different sizes. So fall theme over here. And let's go ahead and shoot to the other side of the studio where we have gone with a lavender theme. Oh my gosh. So dainty, so beautiful. So under the TV, I brought in Bloomstruck hydrangea. And while I was gathering plants for the green room, I had a very wonderful discussion with Ryan, who is usually in there. If you've come to the nursery, he's the man in there that knows where every single plant.
The kindest soul you'll
Yes.
ever
Yes.
meet
Yeah.
in your life.
Yes.
He is fantastic. I do want to say one thing about Ryan before we keep going with these plants. So we do a lot of plant cleaning here. We get buckets upon buckets of plant debris, mostly, all over the place, but in the annual greenhouse perennials and then up in house plants. And it's always my least favorite part, having to take that across the parking lot and dump it. And he goes around in the morning when he gets here before anyone else, and he gathers them for us. So we just leave them in a spot. And I really appreciate it. So shout out to Ryan. I mean, you make my job way easier because that was my least favorite thing to do. But anyways, this is his favorite hydrangea.
And we'll talk later about dumping those plants across the parking lot.
Okay, yes, we will.
I have discovered those in my work around the parking lot.
Yes.
Oh. Well, I'm not sure where he might be taking them somewhere else now.
Oh, we
I'm not
have
sure
a
where they're
designated place
Oh,
for
we do.
composting organic
Oh, yeah.
material. So.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that later.
Yes.
But right now, let's discuss these hydrangeas. So this is his favorite one. He said it blooms earliest and latest. So you get the longest bloom cycle out of these. From his experience, he says he grows them all the time. When he used to do landscaping, he would always plant these. And they are just like the most...
Well, really what they are is they are what in the summer should have been when it came out. Because
And the nature of all these repeat blooming cultivars is that the early ones get a lot of fanfare, but it's really the later cultivars that really earn the credit.
because they've refined
and
them.
then they've already used up the good names.
Right.
But
Right.
most of the time they have replaced all the stock. So the Endless Summers, for instance, or the ones now are better than
Yes.
what they were
Yes.
originally.
Bloomstruck in particular.
Well, I got to see trials of Endless Summer in Georgia when they were before they
was
ever
like
came
20 years
out.
ago, 25
yeah, and
years
they
ago.
had like 60 repeat blooming cultivars, so they were or stock that they were evaluating,
Right.
And many of them were the same color; they just exhibited slightly better or lesser attributes.
Mm-hmm.
So. The later ones are generally better.
Yes, they are. But I know our viewers are strapped in for this ride about what's in room here. So let's keep going. So behind you in the corners, we've got Golden Deodar Cedar. They're gorgeous. We got some
Lovely.
really tall ones in right now. Oh, wow. Look at those hands showing them off right above David's head. Just amazing. And then down in front, I brought in lavender.
Down in front.
Lavender pansies. I was trying to say
Some
petunias, and I was
dusty,
like,
some
that's not
dusty.
what it is. And some Dusty Miller.
Good
and
old
those are both
Dustin
plants
Miller.
that Dustin Miller, that I have in my mixed planters this year. So we went with kind of a simple theme today, but that is what's in room.
All right.
A lot of times simpler is better.
Yes, I fully agree
Yeah,
with that.
it's a lot easier to look at things that have masses of color or masses of textures that are complementary, and the landscapeicide effect, which occurs at even some of the best homes, where you buy something impulsively, which is okay, but then you get home and you just stick it somewhere. It's really good to have a bit of a plan.
Yes, it is. So staying on this purple color scheme, someone is asking, when is the best time to cut back lavender?
3:30.
3:30.
It's actually it's a good question. Lavender is sold and is supposed to be evergreen here.
Mine
in
looks great
Middle
right
Tennessee.
now.
And every year is kind of different with that. Okay, lavender pretty much tells you when it needs to be cut back. I grew lavender a few years ago, and over the wintertime, it got wet, as it typically does here.
It cannot handle that.
Didn't like it. It didn't like my beds in general stay a little wet anyway. I'm at the bottom of a hill, so it's kind of iffy with me anyway. But my lavender told me when it needed to be cut back, because in the springtime the foliage from last year looked horrible. It just looked really, really bad, and it was not happy. So what did I do? Clear cut it to the dirt. After I did that, I got a regrowth from the ground, and I got a brand new fresh lavender for the next season, but it did not stay pretty and evergreen for me. Okay, now what you can do now is deadhead. They're probably done blooming, so go ahead and deadhead it. But then let it be for the wintertime, unless it's just out of hand. Lavender can get kind of big on you.
Oh, they're rowdy.
Yeah, they can really get there.
They
so.
get out of hand.
So if they are just like too big for you and they're encroaching on what you want, then go ahead and give them a cutback now if you want. There's no problem with that. But a lot of times lavender deserves just a clear cutback to the ground in the early spring and watch it regrow from the roots.
When you're
That's
that
my
rowdy,
opinion.
you deserve that.
Exactly.
Yes, you
That's the
do.
way that goes.
I got a lavender-y question. I planted phenomenal in a container. And it really hasn't done very much.
Really? I think we planted
That's part of
phenomenal
the
at the same
phenomenon.
time.
Yeah. And how did yours grow, Caroline?
Mine is huge. I planted mine in ground.
Sounds like it's.
I used Earth
sounds like
Mix
it's
Landscape.
a Tyler problem.
Oh.
Sounds like it doesn't like you, Tyler. Just kidding.
Okay.
I think it probably loves you. Everybody and everything does.
I mean, I've got weird quirks with my plants that I plant, but I just for it to do nothing.
Are
it
those
looks-
limited to just plants?
No.
No, of course not. Oh my gosh.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Mine has at least tripled in size. Mine has gotten real big. And I know we bought ours together. So
Yeah, keep bragging.
Yeah.
mine is amazing. It
I
smells
put
great.
mostly pine fines in my container for drainage, you know, and then threw some. I think it was landscape or
Yeah.
If for me, I would
Outdoor.
use O because O has the shale in it.
Yeah. And
it
are
would
you
drain
planning
better.
on replanting this every year?
I mean, they're perennials that are in.
Well, because when you use pure pine bark underneath, it's going to biodegrade, which means you're going to notice that the level, all of a sudden, I planted that right to the top, and then it's 4 inches down. And you go, how is that possible? Who's stealing my dirt? Well, it's the
You're stealing your own dirt, Tyler.
Yeah. So you might consider a product that provides drainage but doesn't decompose.
You know what I did? Enlighten under mine that I
Enlighten
planted
is a great
in
choice.
ground. So maybe Tyler pull that
Enlighten's a
up,
good
stick
idea.
some Enlighten underneath, and then give it a go.
Also, Colin's got my back. He said I wouldn't pick on the dude who has control of the mic.
Oh, get
Okay,
it, Colin.
Colin.
I think
All right,
that
Colin.
you got your soundboard over there. That would have been a perfect time to do that sound effect.
My mug says I'll mute you.
Hey, Adam, go ahead and show off your mug. We might have some new viewers who haven't seen it yet. So I made Adam a mug. He missed the train for the holiday presents.
I'll keep holding it.
So,
It is one of the greatest things I've ever
Is
received.
that the one you sketched at looking at him without looking at the mug?
Well, I
Is
did
it-
one blind sketch and one looking at a photo of him. I'm not sure which one that is. Kind of hard to tell. I wouldn't say I'm the best artist.
It's pretty good, though.
No,
I think it's pretty good.
It's representational of what you get with Adam Chapman.
Yep.
He took his sunglasses off his cap today, though. Just,
I did.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
just for me,
He
so we could
did.
see his Earth mix.
Yes.
That looks a little bit strange. I'm not used to seeing you like that. Risha did comment on our Facebook page saying her lavender asters are in full bloom right now. She sent some photos, but we usually can't get those up in the broadcast. But Risha, we will bring them up next week. I did take a look at them, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So our viewers have that to look forward to next week. We do have a question about hibiscus, and it's unfortunate that Josh is not here. Someone is wondering if they can bring in or repot their hibiscus to bring it in for the winter. So I'm assuming they're talking about the tropical hibiscus.
Yeah.
I wouldn't repot it if it's already in a pot. I would leave it in the same pot and bring it in. But if you did put it in the ground, yeah, you can dig it up, put it in a pot, and bring it in. I know Josh puts his, I believe, in his basement through the winter, right?
Really hard to say about Josh.
Yeah, it's hard to know with that
He
one.
puts a lot of
He's got a
things in the
grow op
basement.
in the basement where
He does.
he has the grow light and everything.
But yes, you can do that. I actually had a customer come in the spring who they needed a dead hibiscus ID'd or a dead plant, and I was up there, so I took a look at it, and I was like, well, that looks like a hibiscus. And he was like, oh, yeah, it was gorgeous. I was like, but that looks like a tropical hibiscus. So he had put one in the ground. Actually, I think he put like 5 in the ground around his house. And those just, whoops.
Yeah.
Those get zapped pretty quickly as we move into winter. So we do have a hardy hibiscus that looks fairly similar to the tropical, but not the same color and doesn't get quite as tall.
Now,
So-
Caroline, for repotting as far as bigger size, could that be done in late winter?
You could, I mean, honestly, you could do it any time. I usually advise repotting stuff when the days are long and it's a little bit warmer outside. But I mean, if you get bored and your hibiscus looks like it's struggling, you can go ahead and repot it. That can be done.
Well, like we talked about last week too, if you like say you wait till spring or like into like late spring into summer and you decide to repot it, if you go into like a much bigger pot, what does it do? It just really grows. It grows leaves, but it doesn't bloom a lot. It likes to be a little bit root bound, it seems, to really throw blooms. And like this time of year is whenever hibiscus can really, really look good. Actually, it's gotten later into the season and they throw a ton of blooms. So if you do repot and you go a lot bigger, you'll get a big old green shrub, but you won't get too many flowers.
And we love those. I see a picture up on the screen over there. I keep getting distracted.
This is. I'm going to segue into our little spot here for Bates Nursery. If you've never been, I'd say 400 feet, Tyler. Is that about what that?
500.
500 feet above Bates Nursery. This is what it looks like from above, and see if I can zoom in here and feature what it is that I'm wanting to feature, which is parking. And this is the old parking area right here. You see that old paved lot? It's a really, really big hill
Can't tell from there.
That you can't tell from there, but as Dan Knatzler, who's done a lot of the work, said it was a 26-degree slope.
Yes,
So it was a very,
quite severe.
we took 5 feet down out of that. And so that's all that pavement has been taken up, and we've cleared that away. And then, of course, the gravel lot, which is the dust factory. and if you want to enjoy that, this is your last weekend.
I'm really going to miss those
the dust
tornadoes traveling across
The
the
dust
lot.
factory is going to
dust
go
devils
away.
Were pretty cool.
The dust factory is going to go away. We're going to pave all of these areas, and we're even going to stripe it. It won't be done immediately. We're trying to study through that to make sure we get the right things in the right places, because kind of what we try to do here at Bates Nursery, with respect to parking lot and spaces and stripes and your trees and shrubs. We try to help you get the right plants in the right place the first time. My grandmother there, Bessie Bates, you see her on the right of the screen there. In 1932, she founded our company, and she really founded it based on helping people to have plants. She realized quickly that plants make people feel good, and they want to, the reality of it is you don't need most of these things we have. They're not necessities. You might can make a case for vegetables and fruit trees, that kind of thing, but
I would beg to differ.
Well, I mean, contend that even though plants are not cheap, it's still cheaper than therapy, and there's nothing more therapeutic than getting out and digging in the dirt. You get
Well, not only that, but watching it grow and thrive, and
it's very gratifying to get to have that kind of experience, and that's where we really come in at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, not just to sell you plants, but to help you have a very positive experience, to help you grow things, to help you identify problems. If there is something that's going on wrong, you're having trouble with, we're going to help you figure that out. We don't just help you load stuff up and get you out of here. We're here to help you look at your unique landscape situation and get those right plants in the right place the first time. Bring in photographs on your smartphone or your tablet, and that'll help us to be able to look at your unique landscape situation and to make the best recommendations, or at least give you a choice of things. One of the negative sides, I guess you could say, about Bates Nursery is that we have so much to choose from, and it can be completely intimidating and overwhelming. So we're here to help you parse through that, to help you understand that if that's a sun plant and what you've got is shade, to say, well, you need to not be looking at that because that's not going to do well. Or if it's a plant that gets really tall, don't put that under a low window. There are some very simple mistakes that get made, and we can help guide you through that process so you can have a landscape that can be the envy of the neighborhood, and it won't be a cookie cutter and look like everybody else's. Mm-hmm. We're conveniently located a mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. That's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. It's worth the drive no matter where you're coming from. And coming up this Thursday, we find out if Bates Nursery and Garden Center gets voted for the 20th time Best of Nashville. Mm-hmm. So we're anticipating that.
With bated breath.
Bates, yes.
Basted breath.
That kind of thing. So we really appreciate the connectivity and the support we have from the Nashville community. We would be nothing without that. And we're privileged to get to be a part of this great and growing community here in Nashville, Tennessee, and all points beyond. We're right in the middle of everything here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
Imagine, if you will, you buy a plant, and you plant it and you love it, and then you tell it all your problems, and then it gives you a raspberry, and you're gonna be okay, and we're also all gonna be okay because it's time for
What's in Bloom
with Austin. How's that for a segue?
That was great, Tyler. That was great.
What a great setup.
I tell you, speaking of raspberries, Ben, 2 days ago, picked some fall gold raspberries off of our plants here on the lot, and we ate them together. So,
Well, that's
Tyler,
adorable.
Share a
You're
snack
right.
with your friends.
That
We
is
did.
a bonding
were-
experience.
It was
Hey,
great.
those are for customers.
Oh, Adam, don't act like you don't eat this stuff too. You're eating blueberries. in
Don't
the
tell
spring?
anybody.
Yeah, I've seen you back there,
I've
Adam.
seen them. Anyway, Adam's favorite thing to do is actually pick fruit off of plants and throw it at his his employees.
Well, I mean, when there's
Dangerous.
nobody else around,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
But you don't
Exactly.
see him doing that with service berries.
No,
'cause
no,
those
no.
always
No.
all go to the muffins.
Yes.
That's right. All right, so
the
what's in
cobbler.
bloom? Not too many trees, but I did see evergreen magnolias still throwing a random bloom or two this morning. Why is that? I don't know.
'Cause they're
Anyways,
wild.
they're great. Hey, roses are looking good right now. It's that time of year where we get that crisp air, and those
Yep.
roses really like
Yep.
it. Yep.
Yep.
Why do you
Rachel,
think?
Rachel planted, what was that one that she liked? The
She got
Prince.
that purple one, didn't she?
Purple Prince or something
Yeah.
like that. It's blooming right now.
Yeah. They like this cooler weather. David, I saw your house this morning. You still got canna lilies still blooming. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Cleome, that wild weed, still blooming, looking good. Celosia's looking great. I know that's an annual, but man, that when it starts blooming, it doesn't stop until it like literally freezes. Good plant to grow, great for mixed containers. All the natives like last week, Helianthus still going. That native sunflower still looking good on the interstates. Goldenrod, ironweed still happening. Hey y'all, anemone. What a pretty fall blooming plant. God, I love it.
Mine is in full show right
It's
now.
so good. God, it's good. I really, really love it. My verbena, bonariensis, the perennial verbena that gets tall, it's still showing off. It's been blooming forever, pretty much since I planted it. My clematis, jackmanii, done told y'all, it's the best one on the market, reblooming, looking good. All three of those fall bloomers we all know about, which is mums, pansies, and asters. Risha talked about her asters, and I'm glad you're enjoying them because they're pretty.
Hope you're enjoying your butterfly bush too.
Caroline told me, wrote down on my list this morning, turtlehead is out there blooming. That's a cool little kind of shady loving little perennial that's got an odd bloom to it. So that's kind of cool to check out. Hey, you know what I noticed this morning? Mandevilla.
What?
Mandevilla,
I've seen that
Mandevilla.
blooming all over town.
I tell you what, it's
Yeah.
been a great year for
Oh,
those.
mine has been popping all
Oh,
year.
it's popping. Mandevilla is a great vine to grow as an annual vine, but still.
I
actually,
overwintered mine in my greenhouse.
You can
Just
do it. I was just about to say, you can do it. And lastly, but not leastly, my petunias are so money. Tyler, did you get that picture? I tried to send it to you.
Yes,
Did you?
I did.
Oh my God!
I
Look,
did.
Look at 'em.
at the petunias, people.
And buried down deep.
Oh,
Yes.
look
Can
at
we
those.
can we see your
Justin.
Justins in
Hey,
there?
shut up! But listen,
Language.
Look at those petunias. They are. Look, there's a Justin Browse.
I
Can you
see it.
It's
I see it.
dead.
Peeking.
It's
Peeking.
dead. There's 14 dead ones
What-
in there.
Are you sure it's dead?
But
You
what-
can't really see
You
it.
can't
right
even
now.
see it because of the beauty.
But what great
is
structure
gorgeous.
they have due
climb-
to
to
the
climb on,
due to
yeah.
the framework that the boxwoods are
They're
providing.
See them? Are they dead?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
But look
That's
at those
some
petunias.
strong,
people.
strong cup of delusion
That
you got
is-
there.
Hey, misty lilac petunia, wave petunia. Y'all-
Let's put little ornaments on them though. Make some
shut up,
tiny
too.
Christmas trees.
I'm gonna.
It'd be cute.
That's what's in.
Spray paint them silver. Hang some ornaments on them.
I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna replant.
I tell you what's going to be in bloom soon that you may never see the flower. Now we cannot sell Eleagnus anymore, correct?
Eleagnus we can.
We still sell
privet.
it.
Privet we can't.
Privet we can. Yeah. Now Eleagnus, it has the most pungent flower, but the least showy. I mean, you have to look closely.
Yeah.
It has a scaly type of fleshy foliage to the leaves and to the stems.
That's an interesting way to put it.
But they are.
It is. It's rubbery, thick, kind of.
But it has, if you're ever walking along or you're around your neighborhood or you're here at the nursery and you smell something, what is that extremely loud perfume? That's the way when I first smelled it, that's what I thought it was, a customer's perfume, only to find out this has been 50 years ago. To find out that it was in fact Eleagnus, it is extremely pungent. So, but it's fall flowering, and it's if you like strong fragrances, it's a good plant to consider. It'll knock you down.
It'll
will.
knock you flat. All right, speaking of knocking people down, I knocked people down with my cross vine this spring, how much it bloomed. We got a question. Evergreen flowering vine suggestions, please. That is my absolute favorite. So mine
Too.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, it looked gorgeous through the winter, through our deep freeze, and I'm up near Clarksville, so it was even colder where I am. I didn't really lose any leaves at all. They turned like this deep, deep red purple color and just fantastic. So that's my favorite one. Crossvine, it's a native and it doesn't take over. before. I mean, it comes out from one spot. It doesn't shoot runners, or at least in my experience, it doesn't. But it grows like a machine. And the way it blooms in the spring.
Yeah.
Tyler's on the
that's
hunt.
awesome.
We got a fly down here who's terrorizing on this end.
Tyler
Y'all-
hates flies. He hates flies
gonna
more than
get-
any human I've ever met. But yeah.
Well, another evergreen vine would be
Thanks, Adam.
jessamine.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got that
Carolina
one too.
jessamine,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that stays pretty evergreen.
And the named cultivar, actually it's a combo that I gave to Monrovia
Yeah.
that called Double Shot, which is actually the
Swamp
Carolina jasmine and the swamp jasmine planted together, so you get a double blooming time, and because they look almost identical.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very hard. The flowers, the leaves, everything. It's just flowering time that is different. So.
Yeah, that was a good idea. There's also evergreen
I
clematis.
got paid no royalties for that at all. I just want you to know.
You should have, because we sell a lot of them.
Yep.
We do.
But yeah, evergreen clematis, y'all. It's a little bit on the line of cold hardy, but if you got a nice protected spot on a wall, brick wall, something like that, kind of in a little afternoon shade if you can help it. Evergreen clematis is a real beautiful spring bloomer as well. That's got a lot of fragrance.
And
so.
I know you love clematis.
I do. I'm a big fan.
Yes, you are. I know you
Austin-
don't
What?
love
Sorry.
stuff.
I need a clematis coach. Will you help me?
First off, buy the best one.
I did Fragrance Star.
Jackman.
Mine did not do good this year.
Y'all, clematis, I mean, I'm just, a lot of times clematis, like other varieties, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they'll bloom their head off in the spring like they're supposed to do. And then after they bloom, they just kind of sit or they tank. And they don't necessarily die, but they don't look good. Like, they just don't.
Yeah, my Fragrance Star does that
They're
every
like
year.
sunny tops and cool feet. So they really do their best when they're planted behind some taller shrub that keeps the ground shaded, so that the tops they can grow up maybe up a wall or a trellis or whatever.
Mailbox.
Yeah, but if you've got them out in the open where that soil's exposed to the full sun, particularly on a south or western exposure, they just don't do very well. They really struggle.
Yeah.
Sweet autumn clematis is probably the exception to that. They're
That'll
just
live
so
anywhere.
tough.
Will
yeah.
grow anywhere.
That'll live anywhere.
Yeah.
Almost invasive, if you will.
Just about.
So Tyler needs help with clematis and lavender, it seems like.
I'll come help you. Tom.
And you
come
lost
help
your
you.
crossvine. And you mowed down your
No,
Japanese
no.
maple.
Success. No, there's a comeback story for the ages with my crossvine.
All right,
Because
Big Nonia. For the
8 feet of growth from the dirt, just straight up the side of my little trellis,
They're
and then
growing
across the
machines.
top, and almost all the way across it.
I love that vine so much. Ben Trest was actually the one who turned me on to it. He
And
talked
I
it's-
about
can't
it for
believe I
years.
almost
it's
gave
ever-
up on it.
And it's an evergreen, so it
Yes.
really does wonderfully.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
The native species,
And
of
then-
course, what we sell is Madame Galen usually. Is that right? Or is that another?
Tangerine Beauty.
Tangerine
yeah.
Beauty, yes.
Yeah.
So we got a question about creeping Jenny. I know some people in this room hate it. I have some mixed feelings.
I
It
have
will grow
I have
anywhere.
problems with the name. It just doesn't, it just go.
Would Creepy Jenny
Creepy
be better?
Jenny.
Yeah,
Let's
I
call
just
it
go,
Creepy
I
This
don't
time of
like
year,
that
yeah.
name.
This
They
time of
could-
year,
They
Creepy
could have
Jenny.
called it something better. I don't like that.
Crawling Jenny?
Crawling Jenny. So we have a viewer that's asking, they want it to spread it basically in between stepping stones. And they're asking if it needs dirt, a lot of dirt to grow, or if it'll just kind of grow anywhere. It will grow anywhere. I've had it grow out of pots onto my driveway, creep across my driveway, get into my flower beds. So it'll root in anywhere and just go wild. So it should take off as long as it has something to like attach its roots to. I would say it will do it. They were asking about pine straw specifically. It seems like it will grow in that. Like I said, it grows in anything. It grows on top of itself. It's wild. So if you ever need a ground coverage, that one is one to go with.
Yeah. It's a growing
If
machine.
you if you want to watch like a little fight happen over years and years, plant it next to creeping phlox, and you'll see the two plants duke it out in little places, and the Jenny's like trying to find like little places to exist, but the phlox is pretty stout. It's a
Do you
stout.
think the phlox wins?
So far, it's winning
It's
very
the
well.
tortoise and the hare is what that is in the
Yes.
horticultural world.
Definitely,
Oh,
but it's a
definitely.
fun little combo.
Okay, let's talk hydrangeas.
Oh, got to.
My hydrangeas suffered a lot of dark leaf spots this summer. What should I do going forward?
Going forward, nothing, unfortunately. I mean, we're getting to the point of dormancy now, so those dark spots on the leaves will soon drop. Once they do drop, you be clean about it and pick it all up and get rid of it. But if you want to prevent, or if you don't want to see fungal spots, then you've got to prevent the fungus, okay? You got to spray before a fungus ever happens to keep them clean. And once you've got it, you've got it. There is no fungicide that takes away those dark spots. After it happens. Now, I will say, you're not alone in this. Tons of people this year, we had a fungusy season. We just did. We got hot and it was wet. So that brings a lot of fungal issues. And hydrangeas are no different, and that they suffered that this year. But, just watch it.
If you've got drippy gutters, where that they tend to, maybe you didn't get them cleaned out really well, and the leaves are
no judging. We're not judging.
We're not judging you, but we're saying that those things contribute to, and you've got water that's just coming down over the top, and it just happens to be where they are frequently planted. So if you're not getting your gutters cleaned out properly, or you have some kind of leaks around there, that definitely is a major contributing factor. And a lot of the best thing to do as far as treatment goes is to prevent.
Yes.
And if you can, from a cultural standpoint, it's a whole lot better to prevent something than to have to correct it later on. It's much more difficult and more expensive.
Yeah,
Yes,
and this
it
is
is.
Correct.
This is pretty easy for us, but for y'all, just to reiterate, don't ever water your leaves, okay? If you got to water hydrangeas or roses or whatever you're trying to water, don't water their leaves, people, okay? Just the roots. I'm mad.
Come on, calm down over
Got
there.
some feelings on that, don't
So
you?
fired up.
Yeah,
And,
it
but
does cause a lot of
somebody's going to
problems.
say, but y'all water y'all's leaves. I see the irrigation on at night.
very true.
It's
That's
different.
true. It's different. We have to. We've got way too many plants. We could never hand water each one of those.
No.
But
It
we,
would
not a
take
chance.
but we
so
do
long.
it with there's a method to our madness,
Yes.
I should say.
There is.
Science
It's a
behind
little bit of a
everything.
trust me, bro. I have this.
And we can understand and deal with some of those issues. You might see some of our plants out here, y'all, that have some fungal spotting on them, and we will talk to you about that and let you know, what's going on with that and why we choose not to use, harsh sprays and all that. We don't really believe in that. We can deal aesthetically with a little bit of damage, and know that our plants are still plenty healthy. They just have some issues. It's kind of like me getting a random wart or something. It's like, yeah, I've got it. Doesn't look great, but it ain't killing me.
Wow, sorry.
And I
Austin.
still look pretty good.
And this is
Austin and the random wart.
in this instance, it doesn't look good, Austin. It really doesn't. You need to get that checked out.
Thanks, Adam. I'll go. There you go.
Fractured fairy tales. Austin, random wart.
Hey, you know what? I got to say something real quick. We talked about the therapeutic thing about gardening. Last night, my 3 daughters, 7, 5, and 3, we told them to go out and pick the garden. We just said, do that, and we let it happen. And my girls straight up went out there with a bucket and picked them cucumbers, picked them tomatoes, they picked a watermelon, and I got to sit there and watch them do that, and it was one of my proudest moments. They picked a watermelon, and Ivy Jo, my oldest, dropped it, and it popped. Cracked.
That means you got to eat it.
But she found, we definitely cut it up, but she found out that if you drop a watermelon that is fully ripe, it will immediately pop, crack,
exciting.
and pop.
Yeah.
Well,
The old drop and pop.
A drop and
I
pop.
will say this in all honesty: if there are 3 more beautiful daughters anyone has, I have not seen them. Your daughters are. You got trouble out ahead of you. brother.
Yes,
I'm
you
just
do.
telling you.
Well,
I'm
thank you for
just
that.
telling
Just
I'm
you.
wait.
very proud of them.
They are
you know,
stunning. They're
they-
so beautiful.
They are. They look beautiful. I don't care so much about that, but I do love that they can pick a garden by themselves and bring it into the house and only have one minor crack in a I almost said pumpkin, in a watermelon.
You'll care in about 10 years.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
I wonder what a water
Thanks for
pumpkin
that.
would look like.
Water pumpkin.
Hey, it
Every
tasted
day
good.
of the week.
Good job, little bits. All right, let's get one more question in. We have a viewer that is wanting suggestions for 2 small 20-foot top trees to put at the end of a long driveway.
Okay, we can do that.
What would you say?
I mean-
well, for me, I'm going to say a serviceberry.
You love your service
You say
berry.
that every time.
and that's a good choice. He's
David
right.
said,
Yeah, no, he's right. It's a beautiful white blooming tree you just don't even think about, and it produces fruit that
It
typically
does.
the birds eat before you do.
Tyler
Yes.
and I ate a ton of
Nah,
service
we-
berries this year
we
back on
snacked
the
it
tree line.
down
Yeah,
this
we had a
year.
meeting back there, and
Yep.
my gosh,
Our
so
plants
good.
provide free snacks
Yes,
for
they do.
us.
Uh-huh.
Our most popular seller when it comes to that specific scenario is going to be dogwood. It just
Yeah.
is. Dogwoods and redbuds are still our best
Yeah,
sellers.
and I'm partial to Kuza dogwoods
Yeah.
Hey,
myself.
good
They
idea.
flower with the foliage on, and they flower later, and I just really like that look a lot better. It's not quite as profuse, but it gives you that background.
Well, particularly at the end of a driveway, which is usually a lot of sun, Kusa would do better anyway.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's some options. We have more. Come on out.
Hey, there you go, folks. We've put another hour in the books. We really appreciate you tuning in today and all the questions. Thank you all here in studio. And thanks especially to Adam Chapman filling in for
Yes, sir.
Josh Cary, who's away on administrative duties marrying off Eliza. So hope that's a big day for them. Thanks for tuning in. Come see us. We're getting ready to open right now. And we'll see you soon here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, the At Home Show. Bye-bye.